you people. Every famous nigga that gets arrested is not Nelson Mandela. Yes, the government conspires to put a lot of innocent black men in jail on fallacious charges. But R. Kelly is not one of those men. We all know the nigga can sing. But what happened to standards? What happened to bare minimums? You a fan of R. Kelly? You want to help R. Kelly? Then get some counseling for R. Kelly. Introduce him to some older women. Hide his camcorder. But don't pretend like the man is a hero.
You know, I really wish someone would have told R. Kelly this sooner. And like, I think the craziest thing in his whole situation is that where were his people at when all this was like? It's just the fact that they upheld him for so long. I think that was really the more sick thing, because like he's had years of like multiple reports of like sexual misconduct. Saying all that involves that.
Yeah, exactly.
But in this particular case, was pretty open and shut, far as the whole having urinal relations with.
Yeah, exactly. like you said, it's wild that he had a camp around him letting this stuff happen, and it was only verified when the Surviving R. Kelly documentary came out that his camp was in fact facilitating and just letting this shit slide by, which is absolutely ridiculous. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already kind of guessed it, welcome to episode 2 of the Boondocks series recap side pod.
Absolutely.
This one's going to be about season 1, episode 2, the trial of Robert Kelly.
Yeah. So basically how the episode starts off. Obviously they're watching TV about R. Kelly trial for peeing on a 14-year-old girl, to be blunt about it. So basically, Riley and all of them are seeing this unfold, and they're just having a conversation on it. And basically, Riley kind of took the position against R. Kelly, a position in defense of R. Kelly from jump. And then Huey's always kind of like the he wants to see how the story unfolds and kind of reads the situation more.
Yeah, he's always the ground.
And then one of the funnier little scenes actually in the first couple moments is when Granddad said he liked gold showers because he misinterpreted what
a golden shower.
Yeah, what a golden shower meant. He said, I like gold and I like showers. So like he was with it.
Yeah.
He was with it. So that was, one of the little funnier parts of the opening segment or whatever. But yeah. So pushing ahead a little bit further along, Riley has an exchange with a neighbor, Tom Dubois, and this is kind of like the first introduction of Tom.
And Tom, as you can maybe guess by the name and his relation that you'll see to the kids later on in the series, he is the Uncle Tom of the show. He's a light-skinned guy married to a white woman. He's a prosecuting attorney, and he happens to be the prosecuting attorney on the R. Kelly case. And he sees the boys walking up the street, walking towards the courthouse, and he approaches them. And this is the first interaction we see of Tom in the series. And so we get a very clear picture of who he is. You get to see, like I said, he's a light-skinned guy. He talks really proper, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like how people back in the day would have said he talked white, that type of thing. And he approaches the boys and says, I see you got your son. Do you know about what's going on? And then Riley flips out and has one of the best joke spots in the show, I think.
Yeah, so basically, R. Kelly. Riley was basically saying, when making the point of when I see piss coming, I move. When she see piss coming, she stayed. And that was pivotal because it's like, even though it's a bit oversimplified version of what the real truth ended up being, it was still very accurate structurally or principle. On principle, it was accurate because like the only variable that was wrong in the R. Kelly situation was that this is a 14-year-old girl, man. Yeah. Either way, no.
Yeah,
no,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No,
it's no matter what.
Yeah. But like just in his situation, but Riley actually had probably the best defense of R. Kelly out of everybody, honestly. You know?
he did, because he had like you said, even though it's not really contextual, it's logical.
Yeah.
And see, they use Riley as opposed to any other character to make this joke, and I think that's one really brilliant thing about the writing team, is that they took Riley, the 8-year-old kid, to use this like to showcase this simplified logic as almost smart. Like Riley probably really thinks he has a win with that argument, and somewhere there's an adult that truly believes like what Riley is saying through and through.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really important part.
Yeah, that's the telltale, is that even though he's a child and he's speaking from a child's point of view, there are adults that agree with him. And they had to use a child to tell that joke, because had it been, I don't know, what's another male character you know at this point? One of the slurs, or, granddad, it would have been, you know what I'm saying?
People would have wrote it off.
Yeah.
And I think the key is that they immediately Riley's stereotype is a ignorant little boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So hearing it from him is like whoa, he said, like, that's the shock of like,
exactly.
So it just resonates a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one thing Riley does do. Even though he's a really good, easy, cheap laugh, he's definitely a really good plot device to just get across some like thought-provoking shit sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving forward, we have the exchange between Granddad and Ruckus at the park. So this is a little side segment where basically Ruckus comes in. They're both sitting down playing checkers, and this Ruckus is explaining how he's thanking the white man for the trees and all this stuff. Obviously, if you if you've kept up the previous episode, you've seen what Ruckus is kind of like, what his character type is and stuff like that. So you understand kind of like where they're trying to further portray him as.
Yeah, they push it by. So this whole scene it's split in, I think, 2 or 3 parts maybe throughout the episode, because it is the B plot. But we'll wrap it up all at once, I guess, now, because it's not really but so long. The B plot is them having this checker game, and Ruckus just going on and on about how the white man has done this, and we got to thank the white man for doing that, and blah, 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 blah. And Granddad at one point is like, or Robert, the Granddad is like, hey, Ruckus, what the fuck? You black as ace of spades, my man.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think like this? And Ruckus's response is a really good showcase of just like how ignorance only begets ignorance.
Yeah.
Granddad says, "Oh, you want to go and explain it?"
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, that's the thing when it comes to anything you believe in life, it's always okay to have your beliefs, but it's not okay to not recognize when you're wrong.
Yeah.
Or at least have the possibility of being wrong.
Yeah.
So I think, that's just something that I feel like they try to possibly get across with this whole thing with Ruckus. And he just kind of has that mindset. Once you believe something and you've been wrong for so long, you can only cover it up with more wrong.
Yeah, because as soon as he says you're black as the ace of spades, Ruckus's reply is he has revitiligo. You know that thing that Michael Jackson got?
Yeah.
I got the opposite of it. Every day I just keep getting darker and darker, and blacker and blacker. And Granddad's face is just like, what the fuck? Because that's the exact reaction you have. Like, imagine when somebody lies to you and you know they're lying, and then you ask them, like, all right, elaborate on the lie, and then they lie again.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, what the fuck? There's no, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's the dummy here?
Yeah.
Who's the dummy in this situation?
Yeah.
The person entertaining it, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or the person saying it?
That's a hard one.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because from afar, you can't tell a fool from a fool from afar, especially when they're arguing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what Jay said, a wise man told me don't argue with fools because people from a distance can't tell who is who.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's facts.
It goes back to one of those things. Like, you would never be able to tell somebody that's too ignorant to not be ignorant. Just because,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, you got to let them walk with that one. And, you know what I'm saying, you just got to beat them otherwise. And that's kind of how Granddad did. They had him, Granddad checked him a lot in this one.
Yeah.
He has a Jamie Lee Lewis argument about marrying your cousin and sleeping with underage girls, because that's when they first open the scene. Rather, they're talking about the boys going to see R. Kelly, and Ruckus says, "Oh, is that old colored singer that's been sleeping with them young girls, young colored girls, or whatever?" And Granddad, even though he knows that shit is totally wrong, he's like, "Whoa, I'm not let you gonna kill my man like that." Didn't Jamie Lee Lewis marry his 14-year-old cousin? And ignorance begets ignorance. Ruckus says, yes, but that was family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The ignorance doesn't end.
Yeah.
It doesn't end.
And it's crazy. It actually, and it also like heightens the notion that, you know, we have some black people within our community that make excuses for white people.
Exactly.
In certain situations, no matter what.
And then when they end the scene off, they have a last conversation, and just I always want to say Uncle Ruckus or then say Ruckus, and my mind always flips between the two of them. Ruckus, his face and his reaction to the way he finishes what he says, you can tell that he just admires he admires these people to the point of like sanctity. You know what I'm saying? Like his reaction once he finishes his spiel at the end of the checker scene is just he's just in a deep sweat, eyes rolling back in his head. You know what I'm saying? Trembling and just like almost like the Holy Ghost spirit, almost type shit.
Yeah, and the thing, I think they pushed Ruckus's character so heavy early because they really wanted to set up what they had for the future. It's like you'll see as you continue down the series, like Ruckus' importance in certain episodes is very key.
Yeah.
So it's like
Ruckus pushes a lot of the like slower episodes, honestly.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving forward, the courtroom scene.
This is a telltale of black culture. This scene is something that's going to stand for us, has stood for us lately in our culture and stood for us then. You're not going to kill our idols in front of our face and we're not going to say anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because throughout this whole thing, like the defenses are let's start with the prosecution. The prosecution has every single piece of evidence. They have a video with him saying his name and social security number, then peeing on the girl. They bring the girl in. She tells a story, says that it happened.
Yeah.
Says that it happened.
They have DNA, videotape.
Exactly. Everything. They have every single piece of evidence that they need. But the prosecution does one really, really smart thing. And this is a throwback to the OJ. This is a parallel to the OJ case.
The defense.
This whole situation is a parallel to the OJ case, if you didn't recognize. They have every piece of evidence just like the OJ prosecution did. But then the defense goes and they give this runaround. Racism.
Yep.
And you know what?
That's the trigger word.
Tom Dubois is married to a white woman.
Yep.
Mark Furman is a racist.
Yep.
It's the same thing. It's you know what I'm saying? It's an allusion to that, but it's the same thing. Like, all it took was one, no matter the heinous thing you did, it took one person's, Mark Furman's slip up. Like, being a racist is not a slip up. That's just dead wrong. But, I mean, being married to a white woman is not a slip up and it's not dead wrong. Right. But for the sake of the joke, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was your slip up and that throughout everything. And now we rejoice. Yeah.
That's crazy because it's wild because they just it's funny because it's just like they turned on Tom, but in reality he never did nothing necessarily bad for his community.
He never did.
In this situation he had all the evidence. It's not like he was wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is another one of those examples of the case where it really wasn't about right or wrong when it came to the actual situation.
Yeah.
It was about what's right or wrong, far as like over like the justice
Morality,
system. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Morality.
Because our personal morality, cultural morality
Yeah.
is what it is. Because even Tom himself says, it's a 14-year-old girl. We can't do this. That's, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, come on, people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then it's because if you're not with us, you're against us.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what I'm saying, that's a mentality we have in all cultures. I think every people,
pretty much.
like families, tribalism, be it, if you're not with us, you're against us. That's just how it is. Once you form your bond with your group, if you're not with us, you're against us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when you, especially in America, when we rarely get idols that get just respected through and through,
Right.
and don't get killed, you know what I'm saying? We have to protect those peoples in our eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to preserve, because like the thing about it is like black people, especially the black people of America, have to really preserve their culture.
Yeah.
And the biggest like, I guess like the
Part of culture that
part
we
of our
have.
culture that we have are mostly the entertainment.
Yeah.
Like people like R. Kelly is exactly why. Like, but that goes for anybody that's really, because really in Bill Cosby, he had people fighting for him tooth and nail to the end, and still
to this
does.
day. Because
You know?
still at the like Dave Chappelle said,
Yeah.
Bill Cosby paid for the speaker system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like he still means something. Like, cancel culture really affected black culture more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Cancel culture is affected because the only real person that really get ate out their life for that shit is Bill Cosby. They pretty much threw the end of Bill Cosby's life away.
Yeah, he's done.
Nobody else is really like, you know what I'm saying? Roman Polanski's still wherever he is, if he ain't dead. You know what I'm saying? And they threw Bill Cosby's life away, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he totally deserved to go to jail, yes.
Yeah.
100% through and through. But they made quick, swift, he snitched on himself too, but
Yeah.
they threw Bill Cosby's life away.
Like that.
And it wasn't even a life worth throwing away. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He would have done more good in apology money than he would have been in jail.
Yeah. That
You know what I'm saying?
I can agree with
to
that.
a certain extent, black people
Right
are
about
always
that.
going to act like that because y'all take everything away from us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why motherfuckers spend their money before you can take it.
Exactly. So the thing just getting back to the scene, I think why is it that you think, do you think it was intentional that they let the jury, or I guess the dynamic, same thing that kind of happened with the OJ situation, like Tom, but in this situation, Tom lost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Tom would have lost in real life in the OJ situation.
right. I'm sorry. I'm getting twisted. But basically what I'm saying, do you think because they're both black and successful at their respective positions, do you think the
nowhere near as successful as a black entertainer?
But let me finish what I'm saying though. Do you think that the writers or creators were trying to establish this dynamic, or was this just a coincidence?
I think it's a coincidence because Tom is still an everyday character. Like, you know what I'm saying? If Tom does if Tom does arrest R. Kelly, he can't live in Woodbridge. He's not going to live in Woodbridge anymore.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one, and it's real life. Yeah. Because, like, a lawyer doesn't fucking matter to an entertainer. Who's paying who? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes down to, like, and
I guess, okay, so I guess that leads to the question of, do you think R. Kelly, do entertainers on the surface, they automatically, I guess they're going to get more adoration just because they're more popular, they're more seen and stuff like that. But in situations like this where, you know what I'm saying, you had another guy that was, you know what I'm saying, like I said, never really did nothing against his community. The only thing you had against him that he married a white woman, and then immediately, like, you turn on him just to support
Oh,
one of
okay,
your
I see
favorite
what you're saying,
artists.
okay.
I'm trying to see like what do you think about that? I'm more so probing. Like, see what do you think about that?
I think that was just a showcase that it just takes one thing for people to it just like I don't think it was necessarily that he was married to a white woman, or you know what I'm saying. They could have said Tom Dubois wears 2 left shoes every day. People still would have gasped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's anything to redeem your idols. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's anything to redeem your idols and keep them in that position. That's what I think it is.
Okay.
I think this is one of those, like you said, this should have been, or not should have been, it was pretty much episode 1B. I think, you know, more or less, because they're still introducing characters, still getting it all kind of set up for what it's going to be as a series.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. This is still one of my favorite episodes, I got to say.
Yeah. So what do you think? So what do you think the kind of like the overarching like theme, or I guess what point do you think that they were trying to drive home with this episode, just for closure?
Other than get R. Kelly some help, like the clip we played in the beginning, it's that black people aren't going to really let their idols die, and that we'll take, you know what I'm saying, we'll take the dub. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
no matter if it's on a technicality, we'll take the dub,
And
because we deserve it.
And
in
I
a way.
think simultaneously, that bar from Huey, the key phrase was that you need to go get some help for R.
Yeah,
Kelly.
exactly.
Because that's the second part that people don't get. No one got R. Kelly help after he got caught up the first time. They just kept, and they just wanted, like, getting someone off is, you know what I'm saying, like, out of trouble or something like that. That's the first part, but it should always, the goal should always be to help and try to, you know, lend your hand, like, in situations like that, bro. Because, like, that's something like people need genuine help for. It's not like something where, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't know. It's
not something that people can really usually fix on their own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got a very good point there. Like you said, I mean, they wouldn't have had that at the end and so poignant for no reason. Even though, as soon as Huey makes the speech, just like us all, Riley says, "Hey, you with the fro, boo, turn the music back on." Till next week, it's simple math.
Peace. Peace.